It's one of my favorite asks. How'd you get into the insurance business? Now, obviously if it's not a family business, you ended up in by default.
No one gets into insurance because they want to. I was, I guess, born into the throne, and which had its own obstacles that I had to overcome. But what would you say is your passion that you have segued into business?
Well, as a kid, I always loved sports. I was always on every team. I was always trying out for, baseball, football, basketball. I love hockey because you go from offense to defense in a split second. And that's the way I see my environment.
That's
like,
who you
okay,
are,
I got to go here, then I got to go here, and I have to do it on a snap.
So sports is something he liked. That would be his passion that helps him, grow his business. What's yours?
I grew up always being interested in entertaining. So I think that's probably why our energies are so in correlation with each other, because when I went to college, I studied journalism. And I had an ABC affiliate company call me up and wanted to potentially hire me to be a morning anchor. When I finally realized what was in front of me, I was scared to life about what I was about to take on. So I ended up talking to a few people, talked to some friends, and actually it wasn't until I spoke to my good friend, introduced me to his father. His father worked at Cigna, and introduced me to the insurance world, and the rest was history from there.
Yeah. Figured out a way to bridge it all together.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about how I got in. I was a kid out of college, and it was the Gordon Gekko day down in Wall Street. And I was like, wow, I want to be down there where the action is.
Oh, nice.
Prudential had a financial trading division at the time. I mailed my resume in to Melville on Broad Hollow Road, 520 Broad Hollow Road, and they said, come on in. I'm like, great. So I went in for the interview, and the guy's looking at my resume. He says, hey, I see you play ball. I'm like, yeah. He goes, oh, we have a company softball team. And he said,
really?
Yeah, he goes, I saw you caddied a couple summers while you were in college. We have a company golf outing. Would you play in that? I'm like, sure I would. The guy says, yeah, I'm going to hire you. I'm like, great. Let me see where you guys trade. He goes, trade? What are you talking about? And I said, this is Prudential Securities, right? He goes, no, this is Prudential Claims Office. I said, no, I don't. I said, I don't want an insurance job. I wanted to trade. He goes, well, do me a favor. He goes, do you have anything else on the hook? I said, no. He says, go to Newark, New Jersey, come back you're going to get paid for 12 weeks, and at the end of 12 weeks, if you don't like it, we shake hands and you have a name on your resume. And that's how I ended up 35 years ago. My hiring manager was Richie Abrams, and I either love him or hate him depending on how my day goes.
Yeah. And what did your father do?
Actually, my father was a jazz musician back in the day. He was in World War II.
That's awesome.
Played in the Army band, and his uncle said, you need to learn a trade. He said, because being a musician is good, but it's not going to be your living. So he took him under his wing. He became a furrier, and he worked in the garment industry until he passed in 1985. And I worked with him as a kid.
I think I've touched upon this in the past. My father wanted to be a dentist. And I think you guys know that story. He was driving to Stony Brook, and he got into a car accident. And the guy that he hit was a life insurance salesman for Canada Life, and said, I heard the way you spoke to the cop, pretty good. And you must have half a brain, because I hear you're going to dental school. I'm looking for an underwriter with a salesman's mouth. Come and work for me. And he's like, why? He's like, oh, I'll call your dad and tell you that the accident was your fault. He goes, when do I start?
That's amazing.
So as a father of sons, would you want them in the business?
If you like working with people, and if you like the educational process, the solving the problem process, I think it's a great business.
You just reminded me, we were chatting the other day about how we had some downtime because we're all married with kids. You're like the Brady Bunch, please, this one. And at the end of the day, we realized that we had both gotten home early, and we had an hour to two maybe to kill, and we didn't know what to do with ourselves. Which, is that a testament to where we've come with electronics? Why do you think that was? Because you said you didn't really know what to do, and all we want to do is maybe make a drink, watch a game, but it's hard to turn it off. But is it because, why do you think that is?
Well, I think to your point, it is because of electronics. I mean, back, when I first started in the business, you didn't have those devices that you keep in your pocket. And you could drive home from work half an hour or go on the train for 45 minutes, and you had that time to decompress from the office to home. And when you got home, it was wiped off. Okay, now it's constantly with you, and it's on the weekends, and you just habitually are checking that. So you have to draw the line. And I really think that's, it's great technology, but it also can hurt you and the way you want to live your life.
Are we writing more business because of technology?
I would say yes, because of the fact that, to your point earlier, it's so nonstop. It's like you cannot.
But have your goals doubled or tripled in 10 years? Because think about it. I wrote an article called The Rule of 7, or 72, excuse me, which was your money mathematically should double every 10 years due to interest, right? Are your sales quotas doubling in 10 years because of technology?
I think they have. I think they have because the demand for more opportunities, the demand from different brokers in the marketplace to facilitate solutions and solve problems, it's always constantly there and it doesn't stop. I feel like it only grows because there's more businesses, more companies that come up.
But what about all the M&As? I mean, maybe that's a whole different sidebar conversation. But if your goal in 2008 was 5 million, are you writing 10 million in premium today? No.
No. From that perspective, if you're losing that large of a number,
Unless
yeah,
you're
I would
growing
say.
your market share.
Right.
I mean, how many average brokers, GAs are you dealing with at an ancillary carrier? You're a little bit unique because of the statutory. How many would you say, since over your tenure of where you've worked, on average, how many producers are you working with?
How many producers? I would say, and we're talking like offices, right?
Yeah, actively giving you business.
I would say anywhere in the vicinity of like 25 to 30 different producers, like actual unique producers, different offices that are generating business.
And I know what you're alluding to. See, in our world, because these more statutory become ancillary / dental vision, we've done a good job at taking our volume from DBL and figured out a way how to increase it with ancillary lines like dental and vision. And that wasn't an easy task.
No. You know, we like to say it's the flip side of the workers' comp. So the placing broker is the property and casualty broker historically, okay? You have the deli that opened up or the small contractor, and it's the property and casualty guy that's gonna write the workers' comp, and he's gonna say, now you need stat DBL. And that's where a lot of our business has grown over the years. Now to get these guys to shift gears and to teach them about a new product line, dental, vision, life insurance, they wanna sell, they don't know how to sell. So anything we can do to help them sell, give them product knowledge, show them how easy it is to say, hey, take that deli that opened up with 5 people and you did such a good job, now you have 3 delis and you have 20 employees, maybe you want to buy them a dental plan or a vision plan, okay? So that's the type of opportunities we're looking for in that small group space, but we don't want to, it's not so much having the broker do it, we'll do it for them, we just need them to be the point of sale, and that's really, or the influence.
What have you seen my wholesaler do to help you sustain that and make that work?
You've got the bandwidth on the broker space, right? So, we go out and visit brokers. You go out and you have brokers. So, if it's you now talking to a broker to say, hey, I'm quoting this, or hey, take the community rated product from ShelterPoint, and it's a guaranteed issue plan, and so you're helping promote that under 50 life sweet spot that I opened up with. Your broker dashboard, your brokers can log in and automatically say, hey, here's my block of business with DBL Center. Here's my DBL cases by carrier. Here's my ancillary block by carrier. Here's my growth over the past couple of years. So you're taking that data and you're letting it tell a story for your brokers. And then they're going to see how they're doing and where they want to go.
I would say also the other aspect of it is the access to the data too, right? Because having accessibility, and that's where the technology comes in, you can access it from so many multiple points, right? A laptop, a desktop computer, your own phone. I mean, having that access to that information also facilitates change and facilitates positive change, because now when you're having these conversations, they're fluid. Because now you can look up information and be like, oh, I know this information, I know this case has this, that, the other, as far as lines of coverage, premium, things of that nature. I'm getting paid X, Y, Z. I mean, it just helps to have a better business discussion when you're trying to grow your book of business.
It tells a story. For
does.
me, getting up in the morning, growth is phenomenal. I'd say the biggest really goal is retention. At the end of the day, it's not what you earn, it's what you keep. So what is the one thing you would want brokers to know about working with their insurance wholesaler, the DBL Center?
I think the people there are just genuine individuals that at the heart, at the core, want to help the brokers that they work with and work for. I would say work with, not for, because I would say that's the other aspect of the organizations. It's a partnership. I've always seen that over the years. It's like the dialogue between broker and DBL Center has always been fluid, and it's always been that the individuals within the organization are there for you no matter what. So I would say the people.
I appreciate that. What about you?
And I look at it as a two-way relationship. I mean, your office and your staff, they're an extension of me, and I'm an extension of them. And we're trying to help each other. And they've got my back and I've got theirs. And I think that's a really good relationship, and you can't ask for anything more.
Well, it's been a good partnership. I'm going to say cheers to that, guys. I'm going to end on a high note. Cheers. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Absolutely. Appreciate you being here.